And so we talked about this for a couple of days. We followed this trial very closely. I didn't expect guilty on all counts at all.
Absolutely. And I think certainly, you can look at this and you could say, Susan, it's the middle of the night, right? He acted reasonably and had an honest belief that he was under attack. But guess what? The jury didn't buy it, and they felt that he exceeded the grounds for having that honest belief. And since he exceeded it, that makes him culpable, and they found him guilty. Murder in the third degree, manslaughter, and firearm
I know
possession.
that Renisha McBride's family is happy with the outcome of this. I want to play for you now Renisha McBride's mom when she heard this. Guilty on all counts. Listen here.
The defendant deserved to be found guilty of all the charges, and he was, and the family could not be happier. Now they're going to have some closure. Monica's going to say a few words, Renisha's mother, and then Walter. They're both open for questions.
Ms. McBride, what's your reaction? What's going through your heart and your mind right now?
Outstanding. Outstanding. The prosecutor, they did a wonderful job of proving their burden that they had. They had a heavy burden, but they made it through. It was overwhelming. I kept the faith, and I stayed positive. Also did Renisha's father. He just kept telling me it's going to happen. So I'm very pleased. I'm astonished.
What would you say to Mr. Wafer, if you could say anything to him right now?
I'm not pissed in vinegar.
You said you were.
I'm not pissed in vinegar.
What do you think about what the defense was, how they were dragging your daughter's reputation through the mud, essentially?
We know who she was. Me and Walter know who she was. And everybody has an opinion, and you're entitled to that. But we know as parents how we raised her. She was not violent. She was a regular teenager, and she was well raised and brought up with loving family, and her life mattered, and we showed that.
You said you were astonished.
Astonished.
That means you're surprised.
I'm not surprised, astonished as into relieved, overwhelmed.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not.
How should Mr. Wafer have handled this?
He should have called 911. He should have called 911.
Do you think he targeted your daughter?
I don't think so. I just think he
was mad, and what happened was he had already said it. He said he was mad, and he came to the door with the shotgun, and he shot her. And he didn't even know her. She was a beautiful young lady. She had things going for her. Yes, what teenager, which one of us here, have never took a drink and made a mistake as a teenager? We have. I have. But that doesn't cost your life because you make a mistake. And
were you ever worried that the jury would not come to the conclusion that they did?
Nope, never. Never. Never at all.
Were they watching the jury during the trial? Were there any clues to you of where they were going?
There was no clues, but I think that Athena, Mr. Mascat, and Terry Anderson, I think they did a great job in proving the case. They had the facts, they had the experts, they had the witnesses, and they did their job, and they did it well.
A lot of people are shocked by this breaking news. He was found guilty of second-degree murder. We're talking about Theodore Wafer. He was accused of killing that 19-year-old unarmed teen who went up to his door looking for help and was shot dead. We have Nancy Grace on the phone. Nancy, I want your take on the verdict. Guilty on all counts.
Well, I've been watching the case very, very carefully and had predicted that there would be a guilty verdict. I thought for a moment there they may cut him some slack and give him a lesser included offense because, such as voluntary, because he acted remorseful in court. But when you look at the facts, there's just really no other way to cut it. He lied about what happened, first claiming it was an accident, then it was brought out with him on the stand, which was a crucial, crucial mistake, that he knew his gun was loaded. He knew it was loaded, which is contrary to what he had said earlier. When you catch a defendant in a lie, even if some people think it's insignificant, that's a big credibility problem. And what you were just hearing, I think, is the crux of this case. This girl, of course, the defense tried to portray her as trying to break in or cause mischief. That's ridiculous. She was just in a crash. She was asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And what did she get? A shotgun blast to the face. When I think of my children, and this is what I think the jury did, mine are 6. Can you imagine in about 10 years them knocking on a stranger's door for help and getting gunned down?
Yeah, shot in the face, Nancy. Do you think it was damaging when he said on the stand, I didn't want to cower in my own home? To me, that said he didn't want to seem afraid. He wanted to stand up for himself.
Well, I think that was a very poor choice of words, which is the reason most defendants don't take the stand. I think his defense lawyer should have argued his case as best as they could to the jury without him taking the stand. And I'll tell you why. It's better to let people think you're a liar than speak and confirm their suspicions, and that's exactly what happened here. If he was so afraid, I mean, think about it. If you were afraid, would you open your door to your attacker? I wouldn't. I wouldn't open the door.
I wouldn't either.
No, I would find my cell phone, not my shotgun for Pete's sake, and call 911. And I think the jury did the right thing. Yes, I feel bad for this guy. He's never had any problems with the law. I think he regrets what he did, but the law is this in black and white, and this really sums it up. One may immediately regret the deed, immediately, but that does not negate the intent at the time of the incident.
All right, Nancy Grace, always good to talk to you. I know you're going to have much more tonight on your show. Again, guilty verdict in the Porch murder trial. That 19-year-old, as Nancy talked about, shot in the face when she showed up on his doorstep, Theodore Wafers, looking for help, only to be shot and killed. We heard from her mother, who said she is so happy with this verdict, and she said, I know who my daughter